Well, I just want to welcome everyone here, members and new members. I'm Suzanne Morse Mumon. I'm the president of ACES. In my day job is I teach at the University of Virginia, but I've been a part of ACES for a number of years now. I'm going to take just a few minutes with a few slides to add to what we sent you already. As we thought about this meeting, there are things you can read and things you might need to hear in person. So we've got a pretty full agenda, but most of the agenda focuses on you and your work. So let me get started with my screen sharing here, and we'll go. There we go. Can everybody see that? Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I'm going to make it a little bit smaller for myself, but if it's all right with you. So we have a vision statement. We have a lot of supporting materials. But for me, it comes down to these four things. That is, as an academy rather than an association, we have roughly 100, with you all, 175 members. And part of our mission is to do these four things, and that is connecting people, whether you work on one continent or another, or whether you work in one area or another, but beginning to share and connect in ways that are important for advancing scholarship and practice, which is the next bullet point here. So what you will find when you hear from each other, but also Lou and Patricia and Mary, is that we're looking always about ways to connect each other. One of the reasons I put advancing practice is I wish that all of us were working on brand new problems, but most of us are working on problems that have dogged us for generations. And so, how do we think about what works, how we need to create different partnerships, etc.? And that's part of what we hope ACES, through our both our policy committee, but also work groups and other standing committees, can begin to think about. It's the idea we haven't thought about. Creating products. We have had a white paper for a number of years, but this year we launched our new research and practice series, and that's a peer reviewed opportunity for members to contribute articles, case studies, etc., and have those posted on the website. Our holdup has been the DOI number, and we now are a member of Crossref, so all of our publications will get much more attention with this new series, but also the opportunity for people to search for us more easily. And then the last point is spotlighting possibilities. And that really gets at all the three above. And that is giving people, both in communities, in higher education, but around the world, this sense that yes, we can. We can do this. We can make change. We do not have to, as a colleague of mine said years ago, this is not about beating the odds. This is about changing the odds for communities and for the people who live in them. So this is what we're about, and we hope you're about, of course. I would be very remiss if, in the first part of this orientation, I did not say thank you, a big thank you, to our membership committee for 2026. Lou Swanson and Patricia Zahn were co-chairs. They're both on the call, of course. Susan Gust, Mary Lucy on the call, Ruth McCausland, and Marisol Morales. They did a tremendous amount of work for us to get to this point in the membership cycle. So thank you to all of them for really a terrific teamwork, but also a terrific new group of inductees. An organizational structure. I sent this out to you all earlier, so I won't go over it, but I do want to make a couple of points. There are a lot of committees here for a relatively small organization, but we, for the most part, almost completely, are a volunteer organization. And so what that means is people jump in and get things done. These are part of our goals and also our bylaws. But mainly they keep things flowing from the first slide. So I won't go through them individually, but they are pretty much what they look like. But all of these committees have been rethought. We just had a vote on Monday at our board meeting accepting the new committees, which is a little bit more fleshed out than you see here. But we also have working groups. I'll call out one at the moment. We are about to appoint a group of people to help us think through what a world Congress might be. And so, but we have strategic doing. Spark is, and you'll get to know those folks also. This is a internal, if they may not describe it that way, but it's an internal consulting firm to ACES that helps the committees and the operations of ACES be more effective. So you'll get to know those folks as well. So we have a lot of committees, but these are, as you go back to what I said earlier, these are the divisions that will allow us to seek the possibilities that we all are committed to. The final one, which you are not quite final, but we're on 6 continents. And one of the things as president that I've always thought about is how hard should I drive on Antarctica? But for now, we're going to just take our chances and hope that one day we may find someone who is an ACES member or could be an ACES member in Antarctica. But we have 6 members on 6 continents. So what do these members do? They work on global issues across the board, health to poverty to jobs to the environment writ large, all of that. But they also address issues at scale. So no matter where your work takes you, there's probably somebody on these 6 continents that is working at a scale that would be analogous to your work. We connect with scholars and practitioners, and this is a really important thing. And this was before my time. Others could comment on this, but we were a scholarly organization, and we thought to ourselves, no, 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 no. We're about the collaboration between higher education, independent scholars, and practitioners on the ground. And so once we began to think about that and put that into real time with the membership of ACES, things really changed. Our lens opened up. The fourth thing, we're learning and doing. It's not just about analysis. This is about how does it work? Does the plane fly? And I think that's an important part of this. And then this last thing, 5, we are beacons of hope and possibility. We are saying all day, every day through our work, you don't have to take it. It doesn't have to be this way. We can make it possible for children to have fair chances. We can make it possible for people to have a living wage. We can protect our environment. And I think that's what people, not only in the academic world, but in the communities where we all live, that's what they want to know. Can we be better than this? And I picked this little quote from Harriet Tubman. And it really is true. Every great dream begins with a dreamer. And I believe that based on the members who I know and have gotten to know over the years, my years, 10 years in ACES, I think we're all dreamers, the way we do this work. And I think you'll find some dreamers that find your dreams, that are working on your dreams as well. And then the last slide is what's this day, this 1 hour about? And I'm about to pass the mic on, but we really have 2 big ideas here. One is we want to know you better, what your area of focus is. We'll talk more about that. Roger and our colleague Henry will be giving a longer bio of you at the induction ceremony. But also, sorry about the light. The university turns off the light if I'm not moving enough. Don't ask me why. That saves about 3 cents a day. But nonetheless, what's your inspiration? What keeps you going? And then Mary will give you an opportunity, an overview of the opportunities for getting involved. I gave you the fast and dirty list of committees, etc., but she will give you a little bit more information. And if there's time remaining, and we will end right at 1 o'clock Eastern time, how your interests might align. But you will hear much more from us about that. So without further ado, I'm going to stop sharing, come back to full screen, and turn to Lou and Patricia to take us to the next part of our program. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Suzanne. First of all, welcome to all of you. For those of us who are on the membership committee, we have read a lot about you. I mean, an awful lot about you. And we are so pleased that you have chosen to join with us and to advance engagement between universities and communities globally. So thank you. So thank you very much for attending today, and we look forward for you to engage. So I'm Lou Swanson. I'm a retired sociologist. I'm a rural sociologist at Colorado State University, where I was, besides being a department chair, I became vice president for engagement and served 13 years as a vice president overseeing extension. But we are a university-wide extension service, and we're university-wide engagement. But we build off our community connections with extension. So let me pass this on to my co-chair, who has been fabulous, and she's the one who really coordinated all these calls and getting things put together on our spreadsheets. Patricia's on.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to ACES. It's very exciting. As Lou said, I'm Patricia Zahn. I'm the Director of Community Engagement and Outreach at the University of Missouri, St. Louis. And I was in your seat last year. I'm very new to ACES myself, and it's exciting. And so you're going to learn a lot about ACES today and then through the next month and several, time after that. And we invite you to participate. And so I was asked to be part of this membership committee. And I was like, okay, yes. So please say yes when you have the opportunity. I've had the opportunity to learn and meet people who are amazing and work with them. And let me tell you, membership is a long process, but I was thrilled to learn about all of you and excited about this new cohort. So today, what we're going to do is just take a few minutes, actually the bulk of our time together, where you get to introduce yourself, tell us who you are, your name, your area of focus, and then what is the inspiration for your work. And you'll have 2 minutes. And so I have a little timer here, so I'm going to time you. I know, we can talk a lot, all of us can, but 2 minutes, name, focus of work, and what is your inspiration. And we're going to go in alphabetical order because that's how I have the list. So we will start with Tabia Akintobi.
Thank you, and so good to meet everyone. Super excited about being a part of ACES. So I'm Tabia Henry Akintobi. I am professor and chair of the Department of Community Health and Preventive Medicine at Morehouse School of Medicine, and I'm also associate dean for community engagement. More important than those titles are the words community in each of them. I really see my role as being at the intersection of the academy and the community to disrupt a lot of the historical hesitancy and current justified hesitancy that exists between community and academic partners who hadn't experienced working together equitably. And sometimes for the academy, those that are interested and don't know how, or those that may see a grant that requires that they do it and don't realize that they needed to do that anyway. So I'm really excited about that. And a lot of the work that I do is in the space of community-based participatory research, translational research, but also the ways that communities should be co-authors, co-creators, or in the senior driver's seat for initiatives that are designed to make their communities better, and how we expose students to the ways that that happens, and really model for them how to do it well or better. So what really inspires me is the next generation. So those who are emerging adults that are not fettered by what we may think is not possible. I'm also inspired by community leaders who demonstrate not just what is possible, but actually have led me to better understand the importance of policy and action in doing this work, and who are not fettered by the bureaucracy of an academic institution or the politics that are frequently constraining us. So they help me to remind me of what is possible and what they've been able to achieve that I need to better understand and learn from. Great to be here.
Thank you. And you heard my timer? So I will have a timer going in the background. You didn't hear it?
Did I go past
You were just a little bit past. So
All
2 minutes, it seems long, but it's not very. But thank you. Okay, so we're going to move on to Catherine Ayub. I believe I said your name correctly.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kathy. I'm a clinical psychologist and nurse practitioner. I'm an associate professor at Harvard Medical School and currently run a community participatory research lab. And also I'm the director of infant and early childhood mental health consultation in the greater community in Boston and actually we do a lot of work across the country. My focus has always been working with vulnerable children and families. I'm really interested in those youngest children, even those in utero, through age 8, but I love adolescents too. And have had the opportunity in my career of doing a number of innovative things, other than the ones I mentioned. Again, my focus has always been on vulnerable children, families, and communities, and really communities that represent different ideologies, different cultures. I had the privilege of working in Latin America and also doing some global work in Turkey and in the Middle East and in Egypt. So it was all really, really wonderful. I also was one of the founders of the Prevention Science Master's Program at the Harvard Graduate School of Education, which we really tried to get students out into the community. They had to do 16 hours a week in the community in order to be part of that master's program. So really the interface and to keep them out of the ivory tower was our primary aim. I think what inspires me is really how dedicated and hard people work within communities, and always the fact that any engagement with communities is to build capacity. We work with lots of Native American communities. I've learned so much from them, and they talk about nation building. So I think it's community building and nation building, that everything we do needs to be connected. So I'll stop there.
Great. Thank you. Perfect timing, 2 minutes. All right, Jessica Barnes-Nager.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jessica. I work at Michigan State University with Bert. Hi, Bert. It's good to see you. I also get to work with Kathy, so it's fun following up from Kathy. I like to say that there are 3 parts of my work. One part of my work is within the Office of University Outreach and Engagement, is focused on providing support for faculty and staff to meaningfully involve community in their scholarship, whatever form of scholarship that is. The other part of my work is my own engaged scholarship, and that's where I'm lucky enough to get to work with Kathy and I think others who are part of this group as well, like Ann Cameron and Michelle Sarche. And in that work, we really explore the ways that we conduct research in Indigenous communities in the continental US, and also our measurement. So my own work has been very focused on measurement issues and how we can think really critically about the kinds of measures that we use in early childhood education research and understand the cultural implications of those measures, as well as kind of coming up with some new ideas for how to measure what's happening in early childhood in tribal communities in a way that's more culturally grounded. And then the third avenue of my work is really focused on kind of outreach and how we work in concert with communities to understand the issues that they want to have a better understanding of, and ways that we can work together to address those issues. So, and I think what motivates me, I'm just highly motivated to work in community with community. It just feels more natural for me. So that's it.
Perfect.
And now we hear the timer.
I figured out how to make the noise work. So sorry for that. But you guys are right on time. Good, good. Okay, Rhonda Broussard.
Good morning, friends. Rhonda Broussard, pronouns she, her, elle. I'm founder and CEO of Beloved Community. And I was first introduced to the idea of action research as an undergrad education major in St. Louis. Um, and um, and have been throughout my 30-year career now, like this consistent community-based partner in scholarly research. And what it looks like for us at Beloved Community is we're really determined to think about how we can create some right relationship between community engaged researchers and our academic partners. We have a capacity building model and a community engaged research model where we're specifically looking at how we can train young people and adults in setting their own research agenda, and bringing their findings to local policy advocacy, whether that's in their school, workplace, municipal, or state level, state regulatory, legislative. And knowing that this is where we want to head organizationally, we asked some questions of our research partners about how to get there. And the first two answers were, well, you need your own IRB, which we have, and you need to figure out which methodologies matter for you. And so we train young people and adults in participatory action research, and YPAR, where it's some standalone academies, some multi-year experiences, and have really been pushing questions around how they think about dissemination so that it's legible to their own local communities, in all sorts of domains. So early childhood education, K-12, hospitality, public health. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you, Rhonda. The next person is Bonnie Duran, and I don't see Bonnie on the screen. Bonnie is Professor Emeritus, Schools of Social Work and Public Health, and former director of the Center for Indigenous Health Research at the Indigenous Wellness Research Institute at the University of Washington. So we look forward to meeting Bonnie. Next up, I have Ella Green Moten.
Good morning, I think it is for some of us, everyone. I'm Ella Green Moten. I am a community partner and community leader. I serve as the Community-Based Organization Partners Community Ethics Review Board's administrator. I am really involved in community engagement and with so being a member of the community-based organization partners and having been connected with that group for a number of years, I've had a number of opportunities So I am a strong believer in the power of possibility. In addition to serving as the administrator, I was elected and served as the first community-facing president of the American Public Health Association. Very proud of that for myself and for the communities involved in this work. I also serve as president of the Community Co-Governance Council at the university, at the Michigan State University's Department of Human Medicine, which is a movement that many institutions have not taken on yet, where community folk actually have a voice at the department level. So we're hoping that other folk will follow our lead and do that. But I'm excited because of the work that happens in the community, recognizing the importance of the community voice at these tables. And I have to admit, I didn't understand ACE to be what it is, because I think, and many folk probably do, think of ACE as the children's program. So, but I'm just glad to be here. Thanks to Al Richmond.
Thanks, Ella. All right, I'm happy to introduce Sheila Grigsby.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sheila Grigsby. I'm with the University of Missouri St. Louis in the College of Nursing. I have two roles there, where I am the PhD program director as well as the director of community-based clinical education. As a nurse, I have always been passionate about nursing and community. So when COVID happened, we had to pivot as an organization and really start to rely heavily on our community-based organizations to get placements for our students. So I've been able to build a community-based clinical education program for our undergraduate nursing students that puts them into the community 3 semesters of their undergraduate experience, so that they realize that there are other options in nursing other than just the bedside. Also, in addition to that, with my research, I've always been community focused. So I do participate in community-based participatory research. I like to use photo voice. I believe strongly that communities should be able to have the tools that they need to tell their own stories. So I think that as a researcher, as a practitioner, it's my job and responsibility to give them the tools to tell their own stories in their own words and actions. So I try to bring my students along with me on those journeys to help to impact communities long after I'm going to be gone from there. So what motivates me is the fact that we have countless possibilities to be able to do this work, as well as the opportunity. Just listening to some of your stories, I'm writing names down and trying to figure out, okay, I need to reach out to this person, that person, because I want to collaborate with each of you. So I'm just thankful that I was nominated as well as accepted. I want to say a special thanks to Patricia Zahn for nominating me and for the committee to accept me. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila. Next up is Barbara Holland, and I don't see Barbara on the screen today. Barbara is considered one of the early community engagement scholars. Probably all of you have heard her name. She published numerous articles, books, and reports on service learning and community engagement that helped shape the field. Many of her works are cited today as foundational, such as the Holland Matrix, which is used widely to assess the institutionalization of community engagement on campuses. So we welcome Barbara and are glad to have her as part of ACES. Next up, I do see Elaine Ikeda on the screen. So Elaine, sorry.
Hi, everyone. Wow. Yes, I'm Elaine Ikeda, and it's an honor to be here. I'm so impressed listening to everyone, and honored that I was nominated by Dr. Andy Furco, and just happy to be here. So I started my career in public health, and in graduate school, I went back for a degree in higher education. And at UCLA, I did research with Sandy Aston, and we did one of the largest, well, possibly the largest quantitative study on service learning. And that started for me a career as a service learning person. And so for 25 years, I was the executive director of California Campus Compact, and we later renamed ourselves Lead California about 5 years ago, and I am currently retired as of a little over a year ago and enjoying that. I would say I have three areas that I tended to really focus on. Creating transformational experiences for students to participate in. I really wanted to also have our organization transform higher education. And the third area for me was supporting underrepresented folks in the field and creating lots of professional development opportunities. So I personally feel like I was mentored by many wonderful folks and wanted to and enjoyed creating experiences for folks to have that experience. Um, so now that I'm retired, I will say that I am inspired by those who are really doing a lot of community organizing and political organizing. That's what's really inspiring me these days. So thanks so much. It's wonderful to be with you all.
Thank you, Elaine. All right. And Karen Jackson, you're next.
Good afternoon, everyone. Karen Jackson. I am an associate professor of leadership studies at North Carolina A&T State University in Greensboro, North Carolina. I'm also serving as past president and board secretary for the American Evaluation Association. So you see behind me with a little promotion of the current conference theme. Our conference will be in Charlotte, North Carolina this year, so I won't have to fly. I'm so excited about that part. And so let's see, I'm introducing myself, talking a little bit about my work and why I'm here. So I have had the privilege of being able to combine some of the things that I love to do. One being using transformative research methodologies and helping others incorporate transformative research methodologies into their work. A second being in community because there's just so much richness and strength and power that we have together, and so we're better together. Is one of my slogans, my themes, the ways that I live my life. And so being able to marry things that you love and can get a little bit of money for doing that work is pretty amazing. Currently, I'm a principal investigator on a Department of Justice grant that wasn't taken last year, miraculously, for community violence intervention and prevention. And we are wrapping up our fourth year. And that has just been tremendous because I've actually been able to work in my own community, which is fairly rare, I think, to be able to do work in your hometown, where we are uh, part of the work is to demonstrate the community connector conceptualization that we hypothesized back in 2020 when we were all locked down during COVID. So great to be here. Happy to meet you all.
Don't you love the timer?
I
So
love
much easier.
it.
Yeah.
Makes me feel like I got an Academy Award.
You did. You're part of ACES now. All right. So next up, we have Farah, and I don't know how to say the last name. I apologize. Farah Jacquez. Farah is not here. I don't see you here. So she's a professor of the psychology department at the University of Cincinnati and maintains a nationally recognized community engaged research program centered on health equity, particularly with immigrant and refugee communities. So we look forward to welcoming Farah. Next, after that is Martina, and you are on the screen.
I'm on the screen, yes. So I'm going to say good evening, not good morning, from a cold Pretoria. So I'm at the University of Pretoria and head community engagement research. And I've got the privilege to be working at the township campus. So my campus is in the middle of a Black township. So it gives me, of course, wonderful opportunities to work within the community. And my focus is heavily now on digital storytelling, e-community work, and heritage preservation. Previously, I worked a lot with the engineering students with a massive community engagement module course with 1,900 students that had to work 40 hours in the community. So that is my research field is now mainly on digital literacy and e-community work. So what keeps me going? I'm building bridges. I'm the white lady in the Black Township. So it's a wonderful experience and a wonderful work to be accepted by the community and to be able to do my work there. Thank you very much. And thank you for the wonderful opportunity.
Thank you and welcome. Next is Bobby Lauer.
Hey everyone, good afternoon here, at least on the East Coast. Good morning to friends across the country. I'm Bobby Lauer. I'm the president of Campus Compact, and really excited to be joining ACES. And I must say excited that Compact and ACES are partnering on some exciting work together too. So I have been with Compact for 4 years, but my entire career has been spent in community engagement, starting at San Diego State University in 2004, and then spending 15 years, the bulk of my career at Towson University, which is where I still live. So I live right outside of Baltimore. Towson University is a large public regional comprehensive campus. And while I was at Towson University, I was also had a dual role for most of the time as the executive director of CUMU, which stands for the Coalition of Urban and Metropolitan Universities. So I've always kind of, for the vast majority, besides those couple early years here at San Diego State, I've always kind of held one foot kind of in a network space, working across the country, really thinking about how we support the field and support campuses and the sector and really advancing the movement and community engagement. And then for the bulk of my career, working on campus at Towson University. I would say in both of those spaces, my focus has been somewhat similar. It's really been about thinking about how we institutionalize the work of community engagement. How do we take it from really a siloed initiative? I'm always kind of on the pulpit saying that I love a good presidential initiative, but also I'm always concerned about a good presidential initiative because those kinds of things tend to have short lifespans and can sometimes do really, really serious harm to communities. So what does it look like to institutionalize work so that it is really embedded in the fabric for faculty, staff, and students? What does that look like for promotion, tenure, and merit? What does that look like in terms of student experience and the curriculum? And how do we work across the whole institution to really think about what it means to be a true community engaged campus? And I was lucky to spend most of my career at one that really it's in the DNA at Towson University, and I still live outside of Baltimore.
Thank you, and welcome to you as well. Next up is Kanjan Mehta, who's not with us today. Kanjan serves as the inaugural Vice President for Creative Inquiry and Director of the Mountaintop Initiative at Lehigh University in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. His focus is on creating integrated learning, research, and entrepreneurial ecosystems in which students, faculty, and external partners come together to increase their capacities for independent inquiry, take intellectual risks, and learn from failure, recognize problems and opportunities, and effect constructive and sustainable change. So we welcome Kanjan Mehta to the group. And then I do believe Sharon Painter is with us today. So Sharon?
Hello. It's good to see some old and new friends. So thank you for this. It's truly an honor. My name is Sharon Painter. I serve as the Senior Vice Provost for Research and Innovation and Chief Research Officer at East Carolina University. Tar Heel State's very well represented here, Karen and Lou. I'm not sure if any other Tar Heels are to follow, but it's good to see North Carolina in the house. The inspiration for my work, I think, is a little bit derived from my very first job out of college was as a social worker who got to see frontline what happens when families don't have all of the tools and opportunities that they need to thrive. And I brought that into being an assistant professor in public policy, working on issues related to state government, the social safety net, and ultimately made a shift into university administration. And so I think what inspires me is that early recognition that we have a responsibility to each other. and to incorporate broad viewpoints and individual experience and expertise in the work, and that higher education specifically has a real need to be able to leverage its capacity to change lives beyond careers or beyond our campus. And so when we're bringing community together with our academic expertise, we really have the opportunity to solve problems or to create opportunity. And so being able to turn knowledge into action is something that I've had a opportunity to lead here through many different ways. And so excited to be part of ACES and to spend some more time talking about those things.
Thank you. All right, Julie Plout.
Thanks, and hello, everybody. I'm really honored as well, and apologize if you're hearing a phone ring right now. I'm at my parents' house on vacation, but excited to join you no matter what. So I think even since when I was a student, my focus has been creating collaborations among students, community members, and faculty and staff to advance justice in various ways, and also to break down the definitions that, we're community members as well as students, we're scholars and experts as well as community members, et cetera. So creating collaborations, and also because much of my career was at Minnesota Campus Compact, working with 2-year and 4-year public and private tribal colleges, that there are distinctive assets and possibilities in different types of institutions, and really trying to foster community and capacity across those. I'm now at Brown University, an Ivy League institution, which is in a tiny state of Rhode Island. So the possibilities and the strengths and the challenges are different. My role is Director of Engaged Scholarship in the Swear Center for Public Service. I'm also an adjunct lecturer in sociology. And so it's really all about creating support for individuals, departments, and across the institution for powerful collaborative work. And I think my inspirations overlap with many of you. One I would say maybe I haven't heard yet is so when I was a college student interning with the Children's Defense Fund and working on policy advocacy, I recognized through lots of discussions that our sense of solutions is grounded in our sense of how we came to be in the current situation. So I did my PhD in history, and I get a lot of inspiration from people in the past who didn't know they would win with their movements. And so sustaining energy, even when it feels like systems are arrayed against us, is part of my inspiration. Thanks.
Thank you. Susan Short.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I have to tell you, I'm a bit overwhelmed by sitting alongside of all of you, but I do have the good fortune and privilege of serving Virginia Tech as the Senior Associate Vice President for Outreach and International Affairs. I spent the first 20 years of my experiences in higher ed at a community college. And it was the work that we did day in and day out of matching assets that the community college could bring and what education could do for the transformation of individuals, people, and communities that really inspired me. But not until I got to Virginia Tech and met some rascals named Ted Settle and Jerry Childers. They helped me define and use the vocabulary that described in a very meaningful way the work that we were doing. And then I had the joy of working with Suzanne Morse, who was able to demonstrate to me clearly how scholarship and this work could truly transform communities. So I would say my focus area has always been with administrative leadership and putting structures in place that afford faculty members the opportunities to do this work alongside of their students and researchers and to find meaning in it and scholarship opportunities. My secret sauce, if I had one, is working alongside of community leaders, not only domestically, but internationally, and helping them navigate the academy. And I think that's all I want to say at the moment. What a privilege it is to see really forever friends, old forever friends, Lou and Scott and others. And then certainly I had the privilege to continue to serve in leadership roles with the Engagement Scholarship Consortium. It's good to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Linda Silka.
There we go. It's so great to hear about all of you and what you're doing. So I taught for maybe almost 30 years at University of Massachusetts Lowell, and am now at University of Maine, but retired, but still doing lots and lots of interesting things with the community here. So I'm a social and community psychologist. And I was trained as a basic researcher. And one of the things that my advisor said when I moved towards the more important work of community action and research to action, they said that it was the most disappointing thing, that they thought I had real promise to be a basic researcher. So you could tell I didn't come from University of Kansas, wasn't a place that really emphasized the important things that all of you are doing. So I started at UMass Lowell, and I was there for a lot of years. And all of a sudden, the town changed. It was an old industrial, dirty town, and a lot of those went away. A lot of the mills went away. And Lowell now has the second largest Cambodian community in the country. People came, they wanted to fish, they wanted to swim. And because I'd started already building relationships and doing research, the city said to me, "You tell those people not to do that. That's not the way you build community. That's not how you get changes, dramatic changes." Creating a Center for Family Work and Community, really bringing in all kinds of things, recreating the kinds of events that happened in Cambodia. Huge, huge things, and getting communities involved in writing about it and talking about it, and so the change occurs. I can't wait to learn from all of you.
Thank you. All right, Kevin Snyder.
Yeah, hi. Great to be here. Thank you. And very honored to be part of this group and inspired by the stories, actually. Uh, I'm Kevin Snyder. I am a retired chancellor from Penn State, New Kensington, and my motivation is really transforming lives. And I was able to understand how community engagement fits into that when I was at Indiana State, and we had to set we had to find a distinctive niche in the educational landscape. And we landed on community engagement and experiential learning. And I just saw how powerful that those two concepts are in providing opportunities, not just for students and faculty, but for the community. And so when it became my turn to kind of lead a campus, I was looking for somewhere where there was a need in the community, and found it in New Kensington. The city of New Kensington was a Rust Belt town, very dilapidated, boarded up, in need of a lot of help. And so I started to get engaged in that community. We built an entrepreneurial ecosystem in the middle of the town, and we sparked a revitalization that's brought in millions and millions, over $100 million into the town. Lots and lots of businesses. The town is thriving. The students were excited and doing creative work. The faculty were doing wonderful research, and it has been just absolutely amazing. And I think the most important part of that is the benefit to higher education and to the campus at large. You know, we're all under a lot of scrutiny right now and being seen as being irrelevant. Community engagement to me is a way to show and demonstrate our validity to our not just to our students and to their parents and to our communities, but also to society at large. And that's particularly important now that technology is there and changing all of us. And so I'm inspired by the connections that happen when we're all together and the power that brings.
Perfect timing. Thank you. All right, Leah Sweetman.
Hello, everyone. So good to meet all of you. I am at St. Louis University, one of the 27 Jesuit universities in the United States. One of my groups is the AJCU, that's the Association of Jesuit Colleges and Universities. We have a network of community engaged learning professionals. So I've been involved in that since I started my time here at St. Louis University, where I work in the Center for Social Action, and we focus on community engaged learning with faculty, curricular learning. We support co-curricular service with our students and also voting and policy engagement. If you are a baseball fan, I am the utility player on our team. So I spend time with faculty, students, and our community organizations as well as policy groups. I am most inspired by our young people and have real hope for our future with the engagement and the expertise of our young people. So when our center was created, or when, I've been at St. Louis University over 20 years, and it was certainly focused on service and outreach to the community. We're located in the heart of the city of St. Louis. So a lot of work with social service providers in the poverty fighting spaces. So a lot of need, our students very engaged. But we have started doing a lot of policy and advocacy work where I am super excited. So Rhonda, this really resonated with me, the work that you are doing. So we're going to city council meetings, meeting with elected officials, so local, state, and also time in Washington, D.C., and advocating for change. Our students are testifying, they're meeting people, they're petitioning, they're educating our students on campus. So excited for that. Thank you, Patricia.
Thank you, Leah. Next up is Mark Tomlinson, who's not with us today. He is professor and co-director of the Institute for Life Course Health Research, Department of Global Health at Stellenbosch University, Republic of South Africa. Since 2018, he also serves as professor of maternal and child health, School of Nursing and Midwifery, Queen's University, Belfast, United Kingdom. So we welcome him. Next up is Karen Venter, who is here.
I'm also saying good evening to the colleagues. First, I want to say thank you for Professor Leslie Wood, who nominated me, and then thank you for being accepted in the academy. I really feel, I told Martina on WhatsApp, I think I found my tribe. So it's wonderful to be here. I work in the Directorate of Community Engagement at the University of the Free State. What is my work about? I'm really an integrated person. So if I'm telling you the title of my PhD, it is an integrated service learning praxis approach for flourishment of professional development in community university research partnerships. So it's really bringing everything together. I have a passion for service learning, and the PhD was done with so that's also what inspires me. The PhD and the master's was done with the pioneers of service learning, those who broke the ground for the field. And they are my community of practice, where I continuously start and work and see how I can bring change. Positive change. So my focus is a lot working with positive action research, appreciative inquiry, and combining that with service learning to bring change. That's me.
Thank you. All right. Nina Wallerstein is not with us today, but she is a distinguished professor of public health, College of Population Health, Center for Participatory Research, University of New Mexico. She is a preeminent international scholar of community engaged research and community-based participatory research. And so we welcome Nina. And then last but not least for us today is Lana Whiskey Jack. And Lana, thanks for waiting along. My last name is Zahn, so I'm always last. So it's you today.
Thank you. Wadzie Tanse from Treaty 6 territory here in middle of Alberta, Canada. I I'm associate professor in the Department of Women and Gender Studies, and just really grateful for Dr. Katie Campbell for the nomination, which is why I'm here to be amongst you amazing humans. My work is around everything I do is centered around the life goal of ending gender and sexual violence. So I'm based in from sadly Cree Nation. I'm a Nahio scholar or indigeologist and a visual storyteller. So everything I do is actually around community, my community specifically, and our Cree Nation and Cree language. I'm also based in what I call spirit-centered methodology. And a lot of my methodology is based in also kinship. So the main themes of my work is around Indigenous knowledge systems and visual storytelling. So I'm constantly working to make community accessible resources through the work I do around gender, sexual diversity, as well as kinship and rematriation. So, which I do through rites of passage, and everything. Again, I do is motivated and inspired by, like so many of you, our young people, our students, especially the land. The land is so central to our Indigenous ways of knowing and being and decolonization. So it's a big, big, broad thing, but I just want people to be better human beings and relatives. Thank you.
Thank you. We're so happy to hear from all of you. And we took up, as I said, a big amount of time, but it was important for us to hear from all of you. So now I turn it over to Mary.
Thank you and welcome everyone. I'm in awe sitting here among you as well. I won't take much time, but just give you a key glimpse of a couple of areas where you might want to definitely get involved. So I won't go over everything we do. First, we do a monthly newsletter, and I encourage you to read that. I'm going to send you a copy of the one that went out yesterday after we finished this call. I encourage you to read it. I encourage you to share things, and at the moment, I'm the one you share it with. We try to highlight what's going on in ACES, but also things, conferences related, all kinds of things. So another is we have a YouTube channel. And on the YouTube channel right now, so you can go find us, are copies of our monthly virtual coffee hour. And that's another thing that it's presented by members. Every single one of you could be a great presenter. So if you have an interest in leading that, you don't have to be, it's not a daunting task. Let me know because there's been some fascinating opportunities there and discussions that we've had. So that's covered several things. As Suzanne mentioned, we just launched this research and practice series. We would love it if you have an interest in submitting something that you would get in touch with us. And last but not least, because there's lots of opportunities, is we currently are doing a jointly sponsored webinar series each year with Campus Compact. And we jointly, there's a work group put together, jointly pick topic, and are trying to make sure it's a topic that resonates across the world. So we were dealing with climate change and health this past year, and so those are available. I think that's out on YouTube under Campus Compact. You've heard a little bit, we're just at the point of launching this whole exploration of a World Congress. So if that just really grabs you, you want to be part of it, get in touch with Suzanne. There's lots of other things. And last but not least, and you'll hear more about it, we have an annual meeting virtually at this point once a year. And that is coming up, you're going to tax my brain. I think it's August 27. Is that right, Suzanne?
Yes, it is.
And because we span, as members, 19 hours of time, we hold 2 sessions. One will be, and I'll just put in the vernacular of North America, in the morning in North America, and one is in the evening in North America. but it's purposely chosen so that no matter what time zone you're in, you don't have to join before 7 in the morning or be on later than about 9 or 9:30 at night. So it's a challenge, but we love those challenges and we deal with that challenge all the time. That's why we record things, everything. So with that, I think we've hit the magic hour. I'm sure you
Yes.
have more questions or suggestions or ideas. Reach out to any of us, and you can see information about us on the ACES website.
Great. Well, thank you all. I just want to say congratulations on behalf of all of us in ACES. But today we're honored and inspired by your presence and your examples. And so we just look forward to working with you. And thank you so much for being here. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.